Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Forever Here. I hope that you are all doing well. I was always going to watch this, whether in my own time or with you, but I am really excited. It seems like SB19 have got the most exciting guests for Time First. We're starting off with Gary V. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you will realize that I have a real soft spot for Mr. Gary V. I just adore him, and I would consider myself to be a fan of his as well. Like, he's such an all-rounder, and then he also seems like such a great guy. And the fact that SB and Gary get on as well, I just think, oh my goodness, I'm so looking forward to watching this. Whenever we see our boys sit down for a podcast, whether they've been given a topic to talk about or whether it's just on the spur of the moment sort of a conversation, they just make so much sense, and they make you see things from like such different angles as well, being five really unique men that I really enjoy watching anything like this from them. But then you're going to put somebody very experienced like Gary V into the mix of this, and I do wonder how the back and forth and where that conversation is going to go. So the title of this particular episode of Time First is called Rise Up. I am somewhat aware of some of Gary V's own career, some of his struggles, etc. But I believe I'm about to learn a lot about him through this, and I am incredibly excited. Most importantly, I want to say a huge thank you to SoLei. So you know of the YouTube account SoLei, who usually subs stuff and uploads, and I've watched plenty of stuff from their channel. Well, this, I believe, got uploaded onto their channel and got blocked, and then I think they got a strike as well. And I just want to say to SoLei and all of the other, our wonderful subbing community, please be careful. Your accounts are so valuable. They are so important. The work that you put into all of this stuff is just too important. If this ever happens, just stop. Just stop, take a breather, work it off, and then come back, but don't risk your content whatsoever, because you're providing such an important service to us International 18. You're really allowing us to understand, and for that, I will be eternally grateful. So, if you look in the link, I will drop you a link to SoLei's YouTube account. Please do support, but also SoLei then uploaded this onto their Patreon account, so please do visit it there as well, and you can watch it. I believe that SoLei's account is free of charge to like subscribe to and to follow. So thank you so much for making this stuff available to us. What do you think? On a Monday, well, by the time this gets to you, it'll probably be Tuesday, but should we watch this episode with Gary V of Time First together?
And welcome to our podcast, Time First. Yon. And for today's episode, we're very honored and happy kasi makakasama natin ang isang legend, isang inspirasyon sa maraming tao. And
I love it when Josh wears glasses.
Mr. Pure Energy. But today, pag-uusapan natin on yung time, kung paano niya ginagamit ang time sa buong buhay niya, and ayun, paano siya naging inspirasyon sa maraming tao. So please welcome Sir Gary V.
Yay. I'm loving the body language already. Look
Good
at how chill Pablo is.
Good to be with these guys.
Nagkita na naman tayo ulit. parang lagi po tayo nagkikita, no?
Oh. Pero at least now, I'm in better health now, diba? Kasi yung last time na, no?
How are you, Bo? How are you?
I'm good. I'm 100% now. Josh, I'm like, kung may concert bukas, game. Kung may concert sa kinabukasan, sige, game. Kung may concert, I'm game.
So mag-concert na tayo ngayon.
Let's go. Let's go.
Pero gusto ko lang sabihin, kasi sabi ni Sir Gary, lagi tayo nagkikita, pero mas better yung feeling niya. Pero, to be honest po, Sir Gary, every time na nakikita ka namin, parang never namin nahalata na meron ka nararamdaman or anything. Kasi parang you always look 100% okay.
Hindi,
to be honest.
Ako rin po actually.
Kahit po nung concert niyo po, yung last time kasama tayo, di halata po eh.
Siguro, since we're talking about time, diba? I think you really have to put time into taking care of yourself.
I would just like to point and say that Stell looks like straight out of my dream.
For sure, unang-una, I don't have to go through my whole rundown of all that I've gone through and all that I am going through. But I do take time to take care of myself. I take time to ride my bike. Kagagaling lang namin sa Cebu nung isang araw, and from the airport, bike na ako pa uwi. Yung mga tipong ganun. I watch my diet.
You can tell.
I take the right medications. I go to the doctor, nagpapa-check up ako, and this is the result of all of that. And of course, there's prayer involved. Kaya all of that's kumbaga kasi di ba mahilig ako mag-bike. So yung rayos ng gulong ng bisikleta, kung hindi tama ang higpit nun, delikado yun. Kasi you can crash. So that in life, that's so for me the most important, yung mga rayos na yun. Prayer, exercise, medication, and diet.
Kumbaga, dapat lahat ng parte in good condition.
Oo.
for
Ay,
it to
hindi
be
naman
working
magiging
well.
perfect, di ba? Kasi
Opo.
syempre, may mga lubak din sa buhay
Daan,
natin.
yes.
And minsan, nagkaka-flat ka sa
What a great
pagbabike.
analogy.
Minsan, nagkaka-flat ka rin sa buhay. Papalitan yung gulong. O, then you go ahead.
So that's really great po, no, na parang, kasi most of the people, parang thanks na, minsan napapabayaan na yung time to, syempre, for your health, for your mental health din, syempre, yung mga ganong bagay na binibigyan nyo siya ng time. Napakalaking bagay nun. Kasi katulad po for us, minsan, kinakalimutan na rin namin yung ibang, yung physical stuff about ourselves, yung mga feeling namin, masyado na may pupuyat. Hindi, kaya pa yan, bata pa tayo eh. Pero for you, parang talagang, tulad ng sabi nyo, you have time for it na bigyan siya ng oras.
And not only have time, you have to make time for it. Kasi, I mean, especially to all of those watching right now, lalong-lalo na pagdating sa health, you have to make time to go and have yourself check. Ay, natatakot ako kasi meron akong nararamdaman. Mas okay na eh. Ibig sabihin, may time na maaring maagapan kung ano man ang problemang yun. You make time to see the doctor. Kung sabihin sa kanya na, alam mo, medyo may problema tayo dito, mas okay na makarinig ka ng ganun kesa, alam mo, wala na tayong magagawa.
Exactly.
Tapos na, may katapusan ng buhay mo, ito, yung bibigay namin. Diba? But when you find something wrong with your body, na natutunan ko rin na when you find something wrong with your body is telling you it's time to go and have yourself checked.
Exactly. Kasi tayong mga Pinoy, parang napansin ko lang wala, di ba parang takot na takot sa doktor, takot na takot sa doktor.
Really?
Baka mamaya sabihin sa akin, Tapos sasabihin nila, kuwari lang, nagpagalinto lang ako kung ano sakit ko. Pero hindi nila alam. Overtime kasi nag-i-stack lahat yun eh,
correct.
di ba?
Sounds a little bit like a
na-trigger
couple of
lang
people I know.
kasi unhealthy ka na talaga to begin with. Yung lifestyle mo, yung ginagawa mo. So, nakakatakot syempre. Pagdating mo dun, one time, biglang magugulat ka na lang. Yan nga po tulad ng sabi mo. May taning ka na pala. O kaya, malala na, di ba?
Pero nagustuhan ko yung sinabi ni Sir Gary. Kasi it's a choice eh. Parang, sasabihin nila, importante naman siyang bagay. Pero, sasabihin, busy kasi ako, may trabaho, may pasok. Pero you really have to make time.
You have to make time.
Choose
it. And, katulad ng a lot of people, minsan na ano sila sa, kunyari, dieta. Diba? Parang, hindi na ako makakakain ng ganito, ng ganyan. But I remember, my nutritionist once told me, Gary, I'm not going to teach you how to eat less. I'm gonna teach you how to eat right. So, ibig sabihin, makakakain pa rin ako. Oo naman. Natural yun di ba? Lahat ng katawan natin, nagugutom din tayo and all, but eat what is right. And then you'll see the effects later on. And so when people say, wow, grabe, no, you hindi ka tumataba and all that, I watch my diet and I am able to eat. Hindi ako nagugutom.
Yeah.
Which is very hard po, no? Like, especially sa kabataan eh. At especially kami talagang hindi namin na pag nakakita kami ng food, no? Nandyan yung ako na dami food eh. So,
It's
oily food.
yes, oily foods and all.
Yan.
Meron kasi akong program eh.
Cute
And
Ken.
they actually allow a day where you have
A
time
cheat day.
to take the foods na medyo bawal sa iba't ibang araw, no? But it's andyan eh. So you take a little bit of it, hindi yung you take a little bit of it. You take a little bit of it, enough to fill your appetite and go, okay.
I've had it.
And when you get used to that system, there will come a time when you eat too much, kaagad, ay, sobrang kinain ko, sige, itong gagawin ko when I wake up, ito ang gagawin ko next day and the days to come.
Isang kutsara lang daw ng bawal na food. Pero yung kutsara, sagwan, gano'n ka na. Gano'n ka na. Pero sobrang nakaka-relate po ako. Kasi ako, yung tipo ko po na pag may pagkain, kain po talaga ako ng pagkain. Sabi naman ng coach ko, hoy coach, pwede kumain ng madami, basta tama yung kinakain.
That's it. Eating right. Di ba?
May question po ako related to parang running out of time naman po. Kasi right now, syempre po, parang nandun kami sa career namin na we are still starting. Although magsa 7 years na po kami. But we still feel na it's not forever. We felt like we're running out of time na kailangan namin gawin lahat ng pwede namin gawin right now. And ayun nga po, there's a possibility na mapabayaan din namin yung mga dapat na ginagawa namin. So, during po nung nagsa-start po ba kayo, na-feel nyo rin po ba na parang during that time na nasa peak, very peak kayo ng career, nagsisimula, na it's not forever, maubusan din ako ng time. Pero, yun nga po, right now, nandito kayo, so how are you able to...
Okay. Meron akong, I'll share with you a story that inofferan kasi ako. Okay, I was recording, I had signed up with a Christian company in the US and they guaranteed me, you know, Gary, if you move to the United States, we can guarantee you that in a few months, your name will become a household name sa lahat ng mga Christian homes. Kasi medyo kilala talaga yung Christian company na yun. But there was the issue of time came to my mind when I looked at my family. At that time, Paolo, Gabriel, and Kiana needed their dad to be around. Because that time of their life was running out. They were only going to be that age for a few more years. Yung growing years pa. And if I said, okay, sige, I'll take that offer to go to the United States, ibig sabihin nun, I would be 3 to 4, maybe even 5 months on tour. Then I'd come home, take a break for a month, and then back on tour again. Meanwhile, the kids
growing.
yeah,
They don't
are
stop.
growing old without their dad.
Yeah.
In fact, among the 3 kids, at binanggit ko to sa wedding ni Kiana,
I thought
sa
he had 2
reception,
kids.
that Kiana
3
was
kids.
the one that suffered the most. She's the one na bihirang-bihira kung kasama talaga sa mga tours. Yung si Gabriel kasi sumasayaw kaya nakakasama siya. Paolo naman was old enough and always alam niya kung ano yung responsibility niya as the eldest in the family. But Kiana, the only girl, was always left at home. So that is time that I cannot bring back, you know, and I kind of regret to a certain degree, you know, but she's very independent now. Pero when I look back at lahat ng mga times na kumuha ako ng mga videos, you know, as they were growing up, that's the one. So when I think about time and time running out, time is running out for all of us, no? But I think I'm making the right decisions sa mga ginagawa ko ngayon. I'm making the right decisions in being able to speak to the youth when I do the face-to-face advocacies and I get to spend an hour and a half with them. Halos naman lahat sa kanila, hindi naman talaga ako kilala eh. They only know my music because narinig nila ng konti nung lumalaki sila, pinapatugtog sa bahay. But that's time that is valuable and precious to me.
Nakakatuwa po.
Yeah, that's
Kasi,
what I do.
Alam niyo po, nung parang before po namin i-release yung song, meron po kaming mga individual stories about time. And majority na na-relate sa amin is time for family.
Yeah.
So it's not really parang for ourselves lang, but yung oras na nauubos namin without our family. Although yung work, yung ginugugulan namin ng oras is for them.
Yeah.
Iba pa rin po yung time na makasama mo yung pamilya mo.
Being present.
Yeah, being present. So, nakakatuwa na, ayun nga, meron talagang chances na masasacrifice mo yung time for your family, but choosing the right decision kung ano yun, it's,
Yeah.
may katumbas na.
I tell a lot of people, especially people in the arts, no, na not every good open door is a God open door.
Oh.
Okay? So
What
the
a
time
thought.
that you spend in that good open door that you walk through, it might be, instead of time that is spent with it, it's time wasted on it kasi it doesn't give any good in return. But when it's a God open door, that means all the other areas are going to be taken care of. Your time with your family, your time with this, your time to go, your time to do sports, your time to exercise, your time to be with friends and all. That's all answered for already. As to how, kung paano mangyayari yun, I don't know. But when your mind is set on the fact that the time is of the essence, kumbaga, no, you maximize the time that you have. You may not see the result of what you did right away, But in the course of time, it takes time, di ba? I always believe in the concept of planting good seed on good soil. So what we're doing now is we're planting good seed on you guys, on
Yes.
good soil. As to when tutubo yan, that will take time. And then,
Grabe.
if I may, I'll just finish, no? And if you look at your favorite fruit, that takes time to grow. What's your
Yeah.
favorite fruit?
Ako,
Nakainin na, yung talagang your favorite fruit na, ito yung talagang paborito.
siguro mangga.
Okay.
Manggang hilaw.
Manggang
Manggang
hilaw.
May bagoong.
I don't know how long mango trees take to bear fruit.
Yes.
But I think one of the most nutritious of fruits is the coconut, yung buko.
Yes po.
And ang nalaman ko, actually yung pinya is also very, very healthy. But it takes 1 year. It takes 365 days to grow one pineapple. Okay, nagbabike kasi kami dati. Tapos yung mga magsasaka
For real?
nagsasabi sa amin, sige, pwede kayong dumaan doon pero wag niyong tamaan yung pinya kasi 365 days po para tumubo yung isa.
Whoa.
With buko, which
I
is the
didn't know
most
that.
nutritious, it takes about 7 years.
Kaya pag dumating yung kasi lalaki pa siya.
Tapos, wow! You have to wait another 7 years. But it's good. It's
So good.
perhaps the most nutritious,
Yes.
but it takes time.
Lahat din po nagagamit. Sabi nila very useful.
Lahat din po nagagamit.
Husk and all.
Yeah.
Kawa nga po, inin sa Siargao, hindi na maanong bagyo sa Siargao. Lahat po ng buko doon natunggap. 7 years pa na yun. Grabe.
Yeah.
Parang tayo pa yun. 7 years na tayo.
Yeah.
Hindi pa tayo
Pablo.
nagbubunga.
Correct. Oh, see? But it takes
Very
time
good.
talaga. Now, what you do with that time, that's up to you.
So, nutritious din tayo.
Well, look at what you
Yeah.
guys have been doing. All your songs have some message to put out there. Who knows? When you guys have your own kids, and when you're old and gray, people will still look back at that time
Yeah.
when you were putting all of this out there, and only now or only then it made sense to people that
Yes. Yun naman po kasi ang importante sa pagkakaroon ng ganito. Syempre, a blessing, yung intention. Kasi katulad niyo po, you have great intentions and marami kayong na-inspire sa mga ginawa niyo all throughout the years. Legend na nga kayo dito sa industry natin. Kumbaga lahat po tinitingala kayo. And in relation to time, again, syempre, and yung nakwento nyo. So what are your, masasabi nyo, best and bad decisions
oh my gosh.
na nag-cost ng time or nag-save na or something na parang masasabi nyo na, well, I'd say baka hindi nyo pa na-share, di ba?
Gosh, I really
Okay, I'll
love Josh
share
in this
something
kind of
that's,
interviewer role. I have
The
not
most
seen him
difficult
like that
time I had
before.
was kasi when I was 14 years old, for some reason, okay, naghiwalay yung nanay at tatay ko. And it was a perfect family. We were 7 siblings.
Whoa.
We lived in Green Hills East. So, medyo bago-bago pa yung Green Hills noon. Wala pang masyadong mga bahay. So, it was a perfect family. Kung gusto nyo hanapin ng mga residents ng Valenciano, basta't makarinig ka ng tugtog, yun na, kanila na yun. Kasi my mom is from Puerto Rico. So, may Latin siya. So, palagi siyang may pinapatugtog. And my brothers
Love the demo,
introduced me
Pablo.
my brother and my sisters introduced me to everything that I do today. Whether it's the music of Earth, Wind and Fire or yung mga ganun-ganon, sila nag-introduce sa
So
akin.
basically, yung family nyo po, talagang family, or kumbaga music-oriented po talaga.
Music lovers.
Lovers.
Pero ako yung naging music-oriented talaga. And then, one day, lumapit sa akin yung sister-in-law ko. Sabi niya, Gary, the house is going to be sold. So, syempre, what? Why? And then, it was sold. And then the family split. And then I had to move to the United States. That's a totally different chapter in my life. But the most difficult time that I had was habang nandun ako sa United States. Kasi, mahilig ako sa, I love to dream of coming back to the Philippines. Gusto ko talaga dito sa Pilipinas. My brother was here, my dad was here. So, ang ginagawa namin, masa maliit na lang kami, yung maliit na townhouse dun sa Florida. At dun sa likod namin, may monkey bars. Yun ang ginagawa namin at that time, no? Playing on monkey bars. And I remember I had a bottle of bubbles. Yung gaganunin mo. Mahangin. So, tuwing nakikita ko yung mga bubbles, as in, ang taas-taas ang abot ng mga bubbles, and I would think to myself, one day, Makakalipad din ako pa uwi sa Maynila tulad nun. and all. The most difficult time was that if I fly back to Manila and then I look into the house, nakikita ko yung nanay ko nagluluto, preparing my food. Pag umalis ako, maiiwan siya.
Yeah.
Balik ako sa Maynila, hiwalay na naman. And I'm sharing this because I know, kumbaga sa institution ngayon sa society natin, it's families that have taken the biggest hit. Diba? So when a family splits at the age of 14, kung kailan ko kailangan yung na magkasama sila, hindi nangyari yon. So that was the most difficult time. Do I go to alam kasi niya, pag umuwi ako sa Maynila, hindi na ako babalik sa US, kasama siya. Every day that I was in Orlando, I've never shared this really, but every day I was in Orlando, 10 months lang ako doon, but every night, my mom would hear me crying. So when she said, "Oh, Iho, you want to go back to Manila? Your sister's going to give birth." Yung panganay namin na, yung ate kong panganay na, sabi niya, "You want to go? We can see your sister give birth." And I looked at her and I said, "Yeah." Tapos nung umuwi na ako dito, kinausap niya ako, sumabay kasi yung nanay ko, sabi niya, "I knew you would want to stay because I heard you crying every night. But still, to be up there on that monkey bar, tapos nakikita ko yung nanay ko, yung decision na yun,
Yeah.
Sino bang pipiliin
Yeah.
ko? That for me was one of the hardest times of my life. It wasn't the diabetes. It wasn't the bypass that I got in 2018 and all. No, it was making a choice between mom
Wow.
Philippines.
or dad. And if I go, she stays. And if I hindi ko alam. I didn't know what to do. But I think
Gosh,
I
at
made
the
the
age
right
of
choice.
14, who
It was
would?
hard. But if I didn't come back, none of this, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be here now.
Yeah.
Diba? So,
Especially you had to make a decision at such a young age, no?
yeah. And not all decisions are easy.
Yes,
so
of
it's-
course.
So if somebody, let's say you pray, and you know that God says, now is the time that you have to make a decision. Hindi niya ibibigay sa iyo kung anong decision yun.
Of course.
But I'm giving you time to make that decision. Can you make it now? Oh, you made that decision? Anak, tama yung decision mo, but it's going to hurt. Okay? But I'm going to give you time to heal. I'm going to give you time to move forward. And you will have all the time with me if you choose it. And that's what I did. So, I came home. I went back to school. Nakita ko yung mga dati kong kaibigan ko. And then, the rest is history.
So
I entered
would
in-
you say po that was your biggest turning point in life?
Oh, wow. Biggest turning point? No. My biggest turning point in life was 1985. 1985, there was a song called Di Na Natuto. Okay? So, andyan ka na naman, tinutukso-tukso ang aking puso. Ballad,
Oh,
my
my
first
goodness.
Tagalog hit. Okay?
Wait.
And it was so big that it was on the charts for like 10 months. So, nagiging number 1, tapos nagiging number 4. Uy, naging number 7. Uy, balik na sa number 4. Balik sa number 1. So, syempre, proud ako. Pero, ito sa time when hindi ko maintindihan ng sarili ko kasi hindi ako masaya. Every time I would perform, ang nasa isip ko, ano kaya, habang kumakanta ako andyan ka na naman, pero yung nasa isip ko is, kung bumalik ako dito next month, sold out din. Sold out pa din ba ang concert
Okay.
na to? O kung bumalik ako next year, magiging sold out din kaya yung paano kaya, ano yung magiging susunod na hit ko dito?
The pressure
Hindi pa ako nagsusulat ng
of
kanta.
topping yourself.
Tagalog pa. Hirap akong magsulat sa Tagalog. So it was very difficult for me because I kept trying to outdo myself. Okay? So,
I bet SB
and I
feel
was
that as
dealing
well.
with, it was a time when I dealt with a lot of insecurity. And the insecurity came in the form of Martin Rivera.
Oh,
Kasi sabay kami. Pero
Rival po ang tingin na sa
rival
kanya.
talaga. As in, ito sa mga kabataan yung mga rivalries ni the late Nora Honor and Vilma Santos, totoo yun. Naging rivals din kami ni Sir Martin. You know? But it was a time when I had to deal with all of these things. You know? Alam ko may gift ako, binigay sa akin ni Lord, pero ba't ako na insecure? Then I realized na hindi pala yung Hindi pala yung si Martin ang problema ko. Hindi rin pala. It was me. There was a problem with me. Wala akong confidence na umapak sa stage at talagang magugustuhan ako ng tao and all. In fact, hindi nga naging plano sa akin na maging isang entertainer. I wanted to become an architect or a doctor or a pilot.
Uy, gusto ko rin maging pilot dati.
Kaso sabi nila noon, pag magsusuot ka ng salamin, parang minus daw yun. Baka hindi ka tanggapin dahil dapat 2020 yung vision.
It's so interesting because the minute that he said that, I saw everyone's brain go like tick tick. Oh my gosh, this kind of also happened to me too.
Noon. But with technology today, pwede na, no? But at that time, hindi. Tapos sa architecture, hindi ako masyadong marunong mag-drawing eh. So, kahit na feeling ko, ang ganda na ng drawing ko. Pag pinakita ko sa classmate ko na wala namang kaano-ano sa architecture, pero pag nag-drawing siya, ang galing. Sabi ko, hindi para sa akin.
No, Sir Gary, no. My question ako, no, sinabi mo na umapa ka sa stage, you would think that parang magugustuhan kaya ako ng mga tao. Right now kasi, especially me, na every time na apa kami sa stage, I would always think that would people accept us or like, would people welcome us every time nasa stage at nasa point kami ngayon ng ganon. Gusto ko lang i-ask, how did you, kumbaga,
Manage.
hindi naman manage, like,
Overcome?
yeah, how did you overcome that?
Okay.
Or is it still nandiyan pa rin or
It's still there, especially now at my age. I'm 60. I'll be 61 in August. So when I'm invited to perform,
It's like every single time I don't like focus on Gary. I forget how old he is. In my mind in the beginning of this, I was like, oh, how old is Gary? 50. 61. He's going to be 61 in August. Oh my gosh, those
I'm in a
genetics.
place that's mostly young people.
61.
I'm thinking, are they going to enjoy
And I just want to say, 61, in my eyes, I still think 61 is so incredibly young, especially when I think of 61-year-olds that perhaps I work with and stuff, but he does not look it.
what I do? Or are they just going to be respectful? Na yung, okay, next, And even if that happens, I have to look at a higher purpose Na hindi ako iimbitahin sa isang event kung talagang hindi sila naniniwala na meron akong maaring ma-contribute sa buong, event na yon. And I have realized that in many ways, ginagamit pa rin ni Lord yan because if you talk about time, and I'm not going to say this kasi baka sabihin ng tao na yabang naman nito, but it keeps my feet on the ground when I feel that way. It makes me come out on stage relying on Him a little more and saying, okay, Lord, grabe yung mga ibang performers dito, pero for example, yung Billboard event. Kinabahan ako noon Kasi parang, ang gagaling ng mga ibang performers, narinig ko yung tao, ganun. Tapos ako lalabas the pressure of coming out there, big venue, tapos hahataw ka ng iba yung dynamics kasi ng katawan sa malaking venue kaysa sa maliliit na venue. Pagod ako noon, pero sige. But it kept me humble. It kept my feet. And that is something that you have to take with you through time. It's the spirit of humility.
Yeah.
Because once you lose that, and once you get to the point na, okay na tayo, ang magiging problema natin lahat is, pwede na yon. Okay na yan. Yung mga ganun, wala na yung drive to be excellent. And there's a difference between excellence and perfection. There's not big, but there is a difference between excellence and perfection. But it takes time to learn that. And when your feet are deeply rooted on the ground, kahit paos ang boses mo, kahit may pilay ka, kahit masugatan ka, may bukol ka sa mukha, you can still come up with an excellent show, even if it's not perfect. Of course. So,
I was actually going to ask you kung pipili mo ba yung perfection or you would choose
excellence, man. Excellence. And can I share one experience? It's coming out in a book, okay? So, may concert ako sa Las Vegas. This was 2006. And then, the night before the concert, my sister calls me to say, Gary, hindi makakalipad yung banda.
Oh no.
So magma-1 ka. If I was doing a -1 in, maybe in, I don't know, in St. Augustine, somewhere in in the United States na sa kalagitnaan ng United States na hindi masyadong kilala yung lugar, a -1 show is okay. But Las Vegas? You don't do -1 shows in Las Vegas.
It's asking for something epic.
Correct. So I come out there, and to make a long story short, I remember yung promoters na nagsasabi, baka kailangan na natin. This was the first show of the tour. It was
Oh,
a
no.
9-city or 8-city tour. Wala yung banda. Kailan makakarating yung banda? We don't know. So I said,
We
okay.
don't know.
Hindi kasi nagka-problema daw, may kaproblema daw sa New York, sa London, tapos binago ng American Embassy yung security. Binago nila the day before the band left. So naghumingi pa sila ng mga requirements na hindi namin mapoproduce kasi aalis na sila kinabukasan. So there I was, and the promoters were saying, why don't we just cancel the show?
Oh,
Kasi what's going to happen is people might want a refund and all and all. But I said, but I prayed about this. We prayed about this. This is supposed to happen. This is the first concert
And
of
you
the
were
tour.
waiting for that moment.
And people are
Yeah.
waiting. So,
that would not
game.
look good.
So sabi ko, like this, I'll go out on stage, pero let's keep the exit doors open. Okay? And if people want to leave, then they can leave. Okay? But at least they saw me and the willingness to perform. Alam mo yung setup ko noon? It was basically, Gary Valenciano! I come out and it's just me. Pero yung buong set ng banda nandun. May drum set, may mga amplifiers, may mga mikropono para sa backup singers, pero wala sila dun. So I come out on stage and I say, good evening everyone. And everybody's like, "Ooh." I said, okay. I know you're surprised because you don't see the band behind me. Pati ako surprised na rin. But I know that I'm meant to be here. And you're the first city that I'm going to perform for. So if you don't like what I'm going to give you, you have the exit doors on the left, they're open. Okay. But if you like, you can stay. Okay. So we prayed
I
about
would
this, and
never
I know
leave.
that God wants me to be here. Can I start? Oh, okay. So I started with the song, I Will Be Here. Tomorrow morning, if you, it wasn't, hataw na or but it was a ballad that said, I was meant to be here, so I'm going to be here now. Then the door started closing. Was it perfect? But was it excellent?
Yes.
It was excellent. Definitely
Man, yung buong
excellent.
tour na yun ang kinapusapan ng tao. Kasi you would get, at that time, email, ginagamit na yung email. When email would come in, they would talk about that concert. So the first 2 concerts were -1, and all the others nakasunod yung banda, then okay na, live. But that was the one na, wow, ang layo. But it was a time that I had to face in order to prune me into making sure that whatever performance I do, it must be excellent. Whether it's 5 people, 10, 50, 50,000, 500,000 people. Gary, when you step out on that stage, hindi pwede yung, okay na yan. No, you gotta come out there and give your all, give your best.
Easy.
Kakapagod, I know, it will be
Yes.
tiring, but you'll be refreshed. You'll be blessed. You'll be given more than what you need. And that's what's happened in every performance.
Grabe.
No po, with all those experiences
I love
po
that.
you have, syempre, before mangyari yon, kinakatakutan nyo rin siyang mangyari, pero na-overcome nyo. But, right now po ba, do you have any, worries na possible mangyari, but you just don't think of fears that you just don't want
Yeah.
to think about it or talk about it, that you might want to share?
I'm glad you asked me that. Okay. Every night, every day, there's a certain point in the day where I have to stop and I have to look up and say, please, okay, my biggest fears. As a diabetic kasi, one of the senses na nawawala is the eyesight, And every day, that is something na I don't go to the corner and pray, Lord, please don't make me blind. Pero kunyari nagda-drive ako or nasa aeroplano ako and I look out and I see the sky and I'm like, I wish I could see this all the time. Or nakikita ko yung aking mga apo Gusto ko silang makitang mag-graduate, you know. I want to see Leia if she ever has a boyfriend, if she has a broken heart. I want to see her crying so and I'll cry with her, you know, and tell her I know what it's like. But I want to see all of these things.
Yeah.
So that's one of my biggest fears na in the course of time baka biglang magkaroon na ako ng mga problema. Another is ears. I hope I don't lose my sense of hearing because music, if you don't hear music, how can you put the music out?
Yes.
Although may mga like I know
Mozart.
di ba? But I think I don't know how he did it. It can be done, but it's still a fear for me. You know, to lose my sense of hearing.
And we were always worried, lalo na nung last concert na ginawa niya. So, totoo lang kami mismo.
You were there.
Kinakabahan kami.
Yeah.
Like, how is Sir Gary? Paano
Yeah.
nakakayanan to? Like, kaya niya ba talaga? Parang kami na yung parang gusto namin na, huwag na natin siya pasayawin, please. Ano na lang, kanta na lang siya, kami na bahala. May ganun po kami feeling.
You know, when that concert, December 20 kasi hindi ko talaga nakayanan. I only did 9 songs and I basically quit on stage. And I said, people, I can't do this. For the first time in my life, I looked at my wife on stage. Naririnig kasi ng tao kung ano yung mga pinagdadaanan ko eh. Pero ni minsan nakita nila yung kung what I struggle with. It had nothing to do with my diabetes. Nothing. No connection. It was basically food poisoning. So on December 20, 9 times bago ako lumabas, sumuka ako. Ganun grabe.
Grabe
Oh my
naman yun.
God.
9 times. Josh, 9 times. And then, after that, okay, can you see Paulo nga, my son, umiiyak na talaga kasi sabi niya, Dad, I'm sorry kung napush kita ng todo-todo. Sabi ko, huwag ka mag-sorry kasi we pushed for this. We hoped na magkaroon tayo ng repeat and here we are. So, after the last song, the 9th song, bumaba ako, tapos nandun na yung gurney para doon ako ilalagay para dalhin sa ambulansya papuntang ER. Sabi ko, wait, I need basin. Give me a basin. Ayun. That was the 10th time. Then they took me and all. So December 21, break time. Araneta gave me December 20 and 22. Pumayag sila na may break ako sa gitna. Sabi ko, perfect. Nagiging malakas ako. Kaso nagkasakit ako. So habang nagpapagaling ako sa ospital, there was one statement that was given to me that made me think. Kasi umalis yung 3 anak ko sa kwarto eh. Alam ko pag-uusapan. This is December 21. December 22 yung concert. But meanwhile, I'm being hydrated. Pagpasok nila uli sa kwarto, si Paulo, Dad, it's okay. It's okay, Dad. I mean, if you can't do the concert tomorrow, I mean, sayang. But it's okay. Okay, but we'll support you all the way. Ganun si Paulo. I mean,
Parang
sayang,
gusto niya
Dad.
sabihin, tuloy mo.
Parang ganon. And then si Gabriel. Si Gabriel, ano yun eh, crazy yan, pero he's the most demonstrative.
I love that SB have also
I mean,
worked
you
with his son,
see
so they know
what he
exactly
says,
what he's
he'll
talking
show it.
about.
So he comes to my side, he hugs me. Goes, hey Dad, I love you. Love you so much, Dad. If you, whether you do the show or not, Dad, we love you pa rin. Love you. Ganon. So again, Kiana. Hey Dad. He said, hey Kiana. How are you? I said, could be better. Okay. Can I just say one thing, Dad? I said, yeah, what is it? Okay, I mean, just think about this, okay? But tomorrow, that performance could be your Goliath. Okay, in other words, you're gonna be David and you're gonna that monster, okay? So nakatingin lang ako sa kanya. Okay. And then December 22. It's a long story, but I'll tell you just the important parts. The part where I was inside the dressing room and I was shivering like this 2 hours before the concert. I was shivering. No more throwing up, pero I was shivering because I was dehydrated. Then sabi ng doktor ko, alam mo Gary, lahat ng tests mo sa hospital, you're good. Your liver's okay, your kidney's fine, everything, your creatinine level, your heart is pumping more blood now than even before the bypass. So you're good. I think the problem, bro, is, tapos gumunon siya sa akin, is here. Your problem. And I looked at him and I said, really? At that point, it was time to change my focus. So, meron akong table na may reflection ng light na ganon, and I started looking at the light. And it was my time with the Lord. Kahit na maraming tao na nasa loob ng kwarto, it was my moment, my time with the Lord where I said, okay, I'm gonna focus on you. I'm going to do what only two other people have done, which is to walk on water. That's you, Lord, and that was Peter when he focused on you. So I'm going to focus on you. Okay? Kayo na bahala. Kayo na pong bahala sa akin. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to focus on you. At dun lang ako nakatingin. Paulo, inside the room, was looking at me and he goes, Dad, are you okay? And I said, why? Like, kasi, iba na yung itsura mo, Dad eh. Parang, are you better? And I said, yeah. What time is it? It's 7:30. Nandun ako nakatingin sa ilaw. I said, okay, I gotta get dressed. So habang nagbibihis ako, wala na ang ilaw. Wala na akong focus, point of focus. But I saw a bottle, tubig, a water bottle. Yung cap ng bote, doon, kinausap ko si Lord uli. Sabi ko, Lord, iba yung isang taong naglalakad sa tubig. Iba yung tipong you have to get out of the boat and you see the water and you have to step out. I'm going to step out now, ha? So ikaw na pong bahala sa akin. All. And you know when I came out to talk to the cast, kasi may kumatok, Sir, company call. Di ba ang laki ng cast, di ba? Nandun kayo. I came out like this, walking like this. Okay, guys, the Gary V that you saw earlier this afternoon,
Yeah.
he's gone. This is me now. But it took time. It was a struggle, Pablo. I mean, kasi may mga ibang detalye na hindi ko nasasabi, pero there was a lot of tears involved, a lot of questions, including questions like why. This was going to be my crown jewel of a performance. Alam mo ba yung first time na nag-rehearse kami for this concert, mas malakas pa ako kaysa yung first time na ginawa namin nung April. Sinabi ko pa nga kay Paolo, sabi ko, Pao, baka we can change the title imbis na one more time, Pure Energy one more time, the repeat of Pure Energy one last time. Ano kaya kung Pure Energy, I changed my mind.
Oh,
Tuloy-tuloy na lang natin to. Di, ganun talaga kasi lakas-lakas ko, bigla akong nagkasakit, tapos biglang nag-food poisoning, nagkapatong yung dalawa. It was one of the most difficult times of my career. But one of the most difficult times in my life was that time yung nasa with my mom, the choice of mom and dad. So,
And the timing, no, na parang magkaroon siya ng sabay-sabay na nandoon. Yung timing talaga, parang, grabe.
yeah, no.
Parang, ano mo siya eh, kung ba, most important event in your life.
It's the close of a chapter. I don't want to close it like this. But somehow, nakaraos din yung December 22 show.
Ano, pusul garin na eh. Dumating po
This really kind of like, because obviously the SB19's concert, their kickoff concerts was so soon, it's really bringing it back to me. So all those wonderful prayers that 18 was saying in the run up, and not just for SB19 but for everybody involved in the show, and it really hits home when you hear that somebody had an experience like that and what got them through it. The power of prayer. Just wow, I could listen to somebody like Gary like forever.
iba sa utak niyo na para
They
you
really
were,
make you
you
think
were
so
scared
much.
also that you would, like, ma-disappoint mo yung mga tao. Because,
Yung December 20, alam ko maraming na-disappoint, maraming humingi ng refund, pero marami din ang hindi. Marami din nagsabi na, wow, you came out on stage, you didn't have to, but you still did what you had to do.
kasi po, na ano ko lang po kanina, kasi it was kind of similar sa nangyari sa amin. Itong nag-cancel din kami na amin mga shows, and we were very scared kasi like, buong ano yun eh. Parang how many tours na yung kinancel natin that time?
Almost all the Asia
We
tour
were
po namin.
we were very scared like, hindi namin alam kung ano yung magiging reaction ng mga tao sa amin. And like, definitely, disappoint talaga namin. So everyone's really like asking, oh, what happened? Bakit na-cancel yung mga tour namin? So, naisip ko lang kanina nasa isip ko ba yung gano'n?
Yeah, I felt na maraming madi-disappoint. In fact, yung December 22, 8:15 ng umaga, si Tita Angeli, hinawakan niya yung kamay ko, nandun ako sa kama. Gary, you're going to do great tonight. Alam mo, sagot ko sa kanya, I'm not doing the concert tonight. I can't, honey. I have nothing left.
No,
Tapos umiiyak
8:15
na ako. Sabi
a.m.
ko, I have nothing left. There's nothing left. And 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. yung
Ugh.
deadline. Pag ang Araneta walang marinig sa amin, ika-cancel na nila mismo. Kasi all the hotels were booked. Diba? So people were making plans now. Ano ba, tuloy ba and all. But I spoke to my coach and my life coach, and he convinced me by saying, Gary, it's never been you naman that has performed it. You perform with diabetes all the time. You perform with the bypass. You perform with cancer. It's never been you. So now you're going to say you can't do this? Come on, Gary, give him the chance to prove himself again. You know? Now is that time to do it. Okay, I'll do it not because I want to, but because I have to. Not because I want to, but because I have to, and I had to. I had to step out on that stage, and the rest is history.
Ang galing. And you have your...
What I love about Gary is that even if you're watching something of his, he just radiates such an energy that you're attracted to him, and you want to be like him, and you want to learn from him. He just has this feel about him. I wonder if he's always been
God,
like that.
of course. And everyone else. Ako po, parang personally, na-inspire nyo kami during that time. Kasi grabe yung nagsasalita kayo, nasabi nyo. This is not the Gary V that you saw earlier.
Yeah.
It is a different,
it was different na, Josh.
Parang ako, medyo kinikilabutan ako kay Sir Gary. Kaya na talaga.
Kasi hindi ko malilimutan.
This is your guide.
Hindi, kasi yung time na dumating ako sa Araneta, ang hirap akong makalakad ng diretso. I would always find myself slouching, and then the doctor said, you're still dehydrated. Tapos minsan gumaganon yung kamay ko. Yung mga dancers nga sila, yung mga maneuvers, Sir, okay lang po kayo? I said, we'll see. We'll see. Tapos pumunta na ako sa dressing room, and my doctor who was there, yung nagsabi sa akin na it's a mind thing, he says, hindi ko malilimutan yung sinabi mo sa akin when I hugged you sa Araneta. When I hugged him, I told him, I have nothing left. I can't do this. Yun ang sinabi ko sa kanya. But it was a time where God proved himself again to me. Imagine, that's the first time talaga na sinabi ko ever na hindi ko kaya to. I can't. And if I come out on that stage, I'll probably do how many songs. Of course, gagawin natin yung, pinagandaan natin. Pero I would not be able to finish the concert and all.
But you were able to do it.
I was able to do it.
You were able to do it. Sobrang galing po. As in, di ba, parang all throughout the years, hindi lang ito, pero yung specific point in your life na gano'n yung pinagdaanan nyo, nalagpasan nyo dahil meron nga kayo with yung mga taong nagmamahal sa inyo, naniniwala sa inyo. Alam namin yung struggle pa lang dun sa first day, sobrang kinakabahan na. Pero not just that simple struggle, di ba? Kung yung lahat ng minark nyo sa industry, let's just say na buong time nyo sa industry, ang dami nyo na-inspire by faith, by your performances, by your visions, you were able to prove them na you are Sir Gary, the Mr. Pure Energy. Tapos po, as in, di ba, yung choices, yung mga binibigay nyo insight sa amin ngayon, yung mga binibigay nyo na, ganito pala yung nangyari sa kanya na bago siya maging Sir Gary. Parang kami po mismo, na-feel namin, ang galing. Kasi, you know what to decide for yourself. Kasi yun ang pinakamahirap sa tao. Minsan kasi yung mga tao parang, nag-stay lang po sila na, kung anong mabigay sa kanila ng mundo, ni God, yun lang yung, parang, alam mo, kumbaga, dito na lang tayo, hindi na sila nagde-decide. Pero parang ikaw po, parang hearing na yung mga sinasabi nyo right now, as in, nasasabi namin na, grabe, alam ni Sir Gary yung gusto niya from the very beginning.
Now, there's a difference between...
Well, I just want to say that I feel like that about Josh Cullen as well. Like maybe from the beginning he didn't know exactly what his end goal was going to be, and that has changed and evolved as he understood things more and got more passionate. But does that not just sound like Josh?
Kung anong gusto ko at kung anong kailangan ko. Diba? And I like what you said na yung pag binigay sa'yo ni Lord tapos okay ka na. And I'd like to share this with everyone talaga. But pag ikaw, kunyari ikaw, Ken, bigyan kita ng regalo. Diba? And I give you a gift also. What's the first thing, after you say, thank you, Sir Gary, what's the first thing you do?
Open it.
You check the gift.
What?
You check the gift.
You buy, open it. Who opens it? You. Correct. There are people na bibigyan sila ng gift ni Lord and they're like, oh, thank you. Tingnan mo, binigyan ako ng gift ni Lord. Uli. And then 2 years goes by, but they never open it. And how can you maximize the time that that gift is supposed to meant to come alive if you don't open it? There could be fear. It might be different from what you asked. It might be something,
Oh my
wow,
God.
hindi, wow, it's better than, or it could be, wow, Lord, hindi naman, kasi Lord, ito yung hiningi ko eh. Kasi, hindi ko magets eh. Pero, but when you, kasi many times kung anong ginawa ni Lord, it goes against the grain.
Yes.
Diba? It's parang, which I think the song, time has, you do everything, you try, and then, it's lahat ng mga pangsubok and all that comes. Sometimes that's part of the opening up of the gift. But when you don't open the gift yourself,
Yeah.
nobody else is going to open it up for you but you. So, yeah, to be able to come out on stage and to speak and to, minsan nakakatakot kasi minsan kung saan ako umaabot, I go to a Middle East country, how am I going to speak about God there? And then you hear, and not hear literally, but you feel it in your heart now, Gary. Now sing that song. Okay, folks, I want to share with you this song, and then, I don't know, bahala na, it all comes out, and it works. It works.
Kasi they feel it.
This is just giving me like next level chills. This is a conversation that I have with my family all the time. So there are certain people in my family that just deal with the cards that they're dealt with, and they never go any further than that. They don't try and challenge it. They don't try and change their situation, and they just sit in that and wallow in self-pity and feel sorry for themselves. I'm sure that we all do a little bit of that every now and again, but I always think like, take the decision when it's in your hands, because eventually it won't be. When push comes to shove, God will take that decision out of your hands, and then you won't be able to do anything. You won't be prepared for it. You won't be able to receive it very well. You will not be able to deliver the message of that very well. So take it when it's in your hands. And now that's risky. It's scary because you don't know, is it the right decision? But you've got to trust in your instincts, in your gut feeling, in your belief that these are my options, these are my paths, these are my doors. And based on my upbringing, the advice of my family and my friends, this is the decision that I'm going to take, whether that is correct, whether that's incorrect, the worst decision that I've ever made. At least I made that decision, and I will then face the consequences. Is that not better than just waiting and then being shoved out a door and you're like, oh my gosh, I was not expecting this. Like, I have this conversation so much that I think I'm going insane.
Minsan hindi importante na same beliefs, but yung intention na meron kayo. You have a good heart eh.
You said that word intention. There's another word that rhymes with intention,
Collection.
but it's called what?
No.
No, it's
How?
called execution.
Oh.
So if your intention is good, your execution has to match the intention. Because if the intention is good and the execution is not, magiging questionable ngayon kung ano yung intention mo.
Yep.
Kasi yung
Hindi
execution
malinaw.
mo is, diba? So let's say I do a concert for the benefit of people with cerebral palsy, problem. But if I go up there and I just perform, ay, ang galing-galing, and that's all they'll remember. But if you go and you execute it with knowing why you're there, then people remember. And then it becomes good seed planted on good soil. Kagaya ng kinausap natin kanina. you have to maximize the time, whether it's maximize with family, maximize with friends, maximize with career, maximize with music, which you guys are doing excellently in, but it has to be maximized. Otherwise, why is the time given to you in the first place? To waste it? No, you maximize it. Habang kaya nyo, there's a thing that I came up with where if there's anything in my life na ayokong sabihin sa sarili ko is this: I should have when I could have, but I didn't.
No, I can't.
Yun ang, I wish I never get to that. I should have when I could have, but I didn't. Now I cannot. So don't ever get into that. That will probably be your biggest regret ever. You know?
Try.
So, diba?
Speechless ako.
Kakasabi nyo lang, napakaganda. Pero, meron ba? Like,
I should
biggest?
have when I could have. Yeah. I think, but it's hard kasi I was only 14 years old. Pag iniisip ko ngayon, if I was able to sit with my parents and talk to them and tell them, I don't know what's gonna happen to my career, but it won't be complete if you're not there. Come on, it's just kasi hindi, the issue was not third party eh. Isa pa yun, di ba? Pag third party, mahirap na yun, di ba? It wasn't eh. It was a financial thing. So I could have sat with said, it's just finances. You have 7 children. We can help. We'll keep it together na lang. You know, but I didn't do that. But at 14 years old,
You
naman
wouldn't
ako
be expected
makakapagsalita ng
to.
ganun, di ba?
Yeah.
At that time, it would be more like, wait, sana no more na lang. Yeah, ano. But I didn't have that. But that's something I wish I did. Even just to sit and talk to them from whatever words I had from a 14-year-old heart. Broken na. Tapos, it was the same year I was diagnosed na diabetic. You know, so payat-payat ko. And then, I wanted them to hear it from me na, if we stayed together, kahit hindi ako naging singer, you know, but to see you two together, and all 7 of us together, can you imagine? Can you even begin to imagine that impact that's going to have on us and your grandchildren in time? But you know, I know that I would not be able to put it into words that way at the age of 14. But sana nabigyan ako ng pagkakataon na
Grabe, no?
But
If you
I
can
didn't.
only turn back time.
yeah.
Tatry mo.
Correct. And that's one thing we cannot do. Diba? Because as soon as you're born, it's the start of life. But it also moves death closer to to its appointed time.
Alam niyo po, parang sinabi niyo pa nga po yun na yung ibang bagay, kahit simpleng bagay lang. Recently nga rin po, madalas po kasi, I'm very indecisive po kasi. And pag may gusto po akong sabihin before, like kung iniisip na wag na lang kasi parang thinking of it na baka magulo pa or negative yung maging result. But realizing po right now that somehow parang you're lucky if you're with yung mga kasama nyo po sa paligid is comfortable kayo. Kasi po recently when madalas po kasi kami nagbe-brainstorming and even yung mga small ideas talagang medyo critic kami mag-usap-usap po. So, siguro one example po, during our, nagkaroon po kasi kami ng flash mob. And,
Oh, I saw that.
yes po. Tapos nagkaroon po ako ng idea na parang, what if ibahin natin yung step dito, extend natin, ganyan. So, most of the time, parang mahabang time na siya naisip, pero iniisip ko pa kung sasabihin ko pa siya or hindi. But, thinking about it, kaya ko siya sinuggest, kasi alam ko naman po na, sasabihin lang nila what they think about it. If di nila magustuhan, then fine. Kasi hindi ko sabihin. Parang mas lilipas, magpa-perform na kami na iniisip ko, what if sinabi ko yun? What if magawa kaya namin?
Pangit, di ba? Yung
Oh,
feeling na
parang
yun. Tapos pag binanggit mo later on, what might happen pa is, ba't sana sinabi mo na kanina? Dati
Yes.
pa,
We
would have done that.
makakatulong pa
Yeah.
yun sa atin.
Opo.
Ba't kayo mo na sinabi? Ay, ayokong ganun.
Yes,
You have
po.
to say it. Now, the thing is, you have to say it in a way na sa tamang paraan din.
Yeah.
Di ba?
So, nung sinabi ko po yun, they thought about it, pero isipan po namin. Pero at the end, hindi rin siya na tuloy.
But at least you.
Yes, opo.
Diba?
So, kesa parang iisipin ko, what if sinabi ko siya pero hindi ko ginawa? Even that small detail lang ng decisions or stress, opo, parang nakaka-gain siya ng stress and makakaipon siya ng, in a way, guilt sa sarili, regrets.
And you, parang how hard to live in a world na kung puro maybes and what ifs. Maybe if I know, or what if, pero at least if you, kahit isa dun sa mga maybes and what ifs, pag sinabi mo maaring magbago yung takbo ng kung ano man project or kung pati buhay mo mismo magbago at lahat. But you have to take the courage to step out there and let people know what it is you want to say, or let somebody know what it is you want to say. Don't wait till it's too late.
Yun nga po. Ako po kasi parang one of my favorite
With Justin, obviously he is the youngest. However, I've never really, I know like I like to baby him, but I've never really considered him to be like that, especially because from a very early, SB days, he has held and worn that creative director hat. So I've never really thought of him like that. But him recently, he has been speaking out about, these issues that he has of being indecisive or perhaps, like not having the confidence in certain areas. And it's really eye-opening to like it takes guts to even say that, doesn't it? And I just have to say, well done, Justin, for coming forward and for giving your ideas, even if they're not taken up. Maybe it's an idea for a future, or maybe it will be an idea that you can use for your girl group that you're developing. Do you know what I mean? So it's always good to put the ideas forward, and I just hope that in time he becomes more confident in everything that he does and the value that he adds to SB19 and to Onesie Entertainment as well, because he's just, the different hats that this boy wears are just so crazy.
is timing is more important than being ready. Kumbaga, kapag na-miss mo yung timing,
Wait a minute, what? Timing is
timing is more important than being ready. So, kumbaga, kapag na-miss mo po yung timing, probably hindi mo na siya may babalik. Hindi mo na masasabi yung mga gusto mo sabihin. Kasi po, madalas marami tayong fears. Kaya hindi natin ginagawa isang bagay. Hindi pa kasi tayo ready or something. Pero, yun na yung timing sa harapan mo. So, pwede mong isang tabi, i-maximize mo kung anong meron ka. Sugurin mo with all your might, with conviction and intention, katulad nga po ng sinabi nyo. Para na sa ganun, wala kang regrets. Katulad po ng sinabi
no
nyo.
regrets.
Kumbaga,
It might not be supported, but at least you were able to put it out there. And in my case naman, Pablo, people hear me speak about my faith a lot, no? I am not one person na lalapit ako sa iba at sasabihin ko sa kanila, this is my faith and you also have to have it because if not, you're going to hell. I'm not that kind of a person.
You can tell.
My music was meant to always meet people at the point of their need. Because at any given point in time, may mga nangangailangan. Diba? So if my music can somehow, dati nga nag-rent ako ng isang condo sa BGC, and the intention was not to borrow it just for the sake of living in it, but I wanted the view of the city that I'm always trying to reach. So I was looking at Makati, I was looking at Parañaque, I was looking at BGC and all. And sometimes I would look at one building and I'd look at one window and iniisip ko, baka may isang tao doon na nangangailangan, whether financially or is sick or may relations or broken apart or uncertainty or anxiety. Maybe this song can pierce the person who lives in that small window over there. Then that would inspire me. But you cannot face time alone. And in my case, because sa lahat ng mga pagsubok na naranasan ko na, I have to face it with the one who's given me the time and whatever time I have left. And when that happens, that's when it becomes so real. Yung having the right timing instead of being ready. Because when you're ready, you're basing it on the knowledge you have. But when your timing is right, especially when it's out of nowhere, then it's not knowledge that you respond with, but you respond with wisdom. And wisdom is not learned in school. It's learned with the lessons in life that suddenly happen, the brokenheartedness, the pains, the victories, the moments when you made a left instead of making a right, the moments when you went up instead of going down. But these things happen as lessons in life.
And the same thing as you open the gift, no?
And when you open the gift also. Importante talaga yan eh. Now, you miss with. That's why sometimes when you get gifts, sometimes you put it aside and all, but there are gifts that you open and then you remember. And it becomes so precious to you. You remember all the time you had with the person who gave you the gift, but you have to open the gift yourself to experience all of that.
Meron nga po akong parang favorite quote na, today is a present. Today is a gift. That's why it's called present.
Banda.
Master Ugwe.
Today is a gift. That's why it's called present.
Kaya you always have to open the gift. Diba? Kasi you will never know what you will get unless you open it and tanggapin mo siya. As in, ikaw yung maggagawa nun. Ikaw gagawa ng sarili mong history. Ikaw rin gagawa ng sarili mong choice. Yun nga, binibigay lang sa'yo.
Yeah.
And you always have to, syempre, work hard for it then.
I'd like to, if it's okay, but a lot of people kasi live with a lot of regret because of the time when they could have made the right decision but they did not. So now they regret, okay? Pero alala ko yung isang wedding event na pinuntahan ko, yung how do you say it? The pastor who was that?
Officiate.
The one who officiated was my friend. Pero meron siyang sinabi na hindi ko narinig noon. Sabi niya, dun sa couple, remember that there is no future in the past. So you cannot keep bringing back the past you cannot bring back the past to the present in order to create a better future. You work on whatever you have now. This is the time that you work on what you have now so that tomorrow will be close to what you want happening. Ganun ba? Pero there's no past, there's no future in the past. So kung ano man ang mga regrets ng iba, kaso hindi ko ginawa to, kaya ito yung inaano ko ngayon, ito yung pinagdadaanan ko ngayon. Of course, but what will you do now? And then the two words that are for me very important are the words react, and respond. Now, when yung nangyari sa akin sa concert, 'di ba? May mga paramedics dun. Nag-react ba sila o nag-respond? They responded. People were reacting seeing me that way. But the paramedics did not look at me like that and say, "Oh my God." No, they responded. Okay, let's get him. No, he needs this. Okay, we have to take him now. They responded. So how do you respond? 'Di ba? Kasi reaction is based on emotions eh.
Yes.
Response is based on wisdom.
Yeah.
On what to do. Masakit nga, but we gotta do this because we have to do it, you know? And so, with regard to that, if this is the time that you have, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. None of us do. Ang daming pinag-uusapan, they're talking about, well, it's written. It's biblically written. Wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes and famines and all of that's all written now. We cannot change anything. But how do we react or respond to our time today? Do we go, oh my, ayoko na kasi grabe yung, nakikita mo ba yung nangyayari? Wala na tayong magagawa. Or are you gonna go, okay, let's come before the Lord and let's see how He's going to provide, how He's going to lead us, where He's going to take us, who He is going to take away from us. There are seasons in life and seasons have to do with time. There's a season for this and there's a season for that. And sometimes this season may not come back anymore. But what you do in that season may open up other new seasons for you dahil dun sa season na ginawa mo. So it's really interesting that we're talking about time because it's something we still have, but it's something that doesn't last forever. Diba? So,
And in line with that, Sir Gary, di ba pinag-usapan natin lahat ng what ifs, lahat ng regrets, lahat ng magagandang ano. Siguro, what was your goal ever since bago mo...
my role?
Goal.
My goal.
Yung biggest goal mo.
Okay.
kumbaga.
I'm glad you asked that. Little history, okay? When I started out in the industry, I started out with a group called the Kundirana ng Lasal Green Hills. Basically, it stems from Kundiman at Harana. So yung mga ginagawa ng older batches namin, it's basically yung mga Kundiman Harana, di ba? That's between a guy and a girl. guy goes with the girl to the girl with the guitar. The girl opens up the window and listens, naka Maria Clara, nakikinig sa ano. That's the old Kundiman and Harana. But it evolved into a pop group. And at that time, the only goal, Josh, was to hear the cheers of people. At lagi ko tong sinasabi sa iba, pero may kaibahan ng cheers eh. May mga cheers na yun yung mga babae. And that was my goal. My goal was to hear that. If I heard that, success. That's it. Because there was no vision as to, okay, I want to be around for 40 years. There was none of that. It was all, I'm young, I'm 16 years old, 17 years old, sige. So, basta't makaapak ako sa stage. Kaso may dumating din si Martin Nievera na ganun din ang reaction ng tao. Hold on.
Go lang po.
That's my warning sign. Yeah, that's
Is it-
telling me. It's telling me that my sugar. So it's telling me it's time for me to take something. So can I have something? Something sweet. Just a banana shake would be good. So anyway, I'll continue my
Wow.
story.
Grabe, no?
It's okay, parang,
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah,
Kasi,
at,
di ba-
at that time it was just that. Just to hear the cheers of the girls. Oh, you mean the timing of all of
Yeah,
this?
kasi every time, ibig sabihin, ganyan talaga kayo.
Yeah, ganyan.
Like, normally, hindi kayo pwedeng basta-basta katulad namin na, okay, magtitiis kami, pero sa inyo, kailangan talaga may maintenance.
Yeah, so when you see this, kasi on stage pinapakita ko minsan pag red, ibig sabihin mababa. Pag green, we're okay. Pag yellow, medyo mataas.
Parang cyborg.
Parang cyborg.
Grabe yung
Kasi ang
timing.
dami nakakabit sa katawan ko So parang cyborg talaga, parang bionic.
Seen it.
Wow.
Grabe.
I'll continue my story. So, if you hear it again, it's okay. But I'm taking something now, so it will normalize in a while. So, it was just to hear the girls scream. And the thing is, I heard Martin Nievera, ganun din yung ano sa akin. Wow, grabe, galing din nito.
Damn you,
Until
Martin.
one performance came
Oh.
where they said, Gary, can you sing a song about unity?
Oh.
So now there was a purpose.
yeah.
I was supposed to sing a song, not just to entertain, but to
Not
sing a
just for
song
the
that carried
screens.
a message. I thought, sige. So I chose this one song that was written by a friend, Juan Miguel Salvador, and arranged by national artist Ryan Cayabyab. So kinanta ko. Narinig ko yung sigaw ng tao, pero it wasn't the typical, it was more, wow, what a song. Hindi yung, wow, ang gwapo-gwapo niya. Well, it was more, wait, excuse me, sir, what was the name of the song? Where can we get a copy? Ganon. And that's what
I really want to hear from SB19. Like, do they feel that difference too? Because of course they have their wow songs and they have their songs where we go gaga over them, but they have a ton of songs that hold so much meaning. And I wonder if they noticed that too. Like, I think SB19 are different, that they do stop to take in everything, their current level of success. But I wish it as well. I want them to every now and again pop an in ear out and just really soak in like everything.
when I realized, wait a minute, I can, with what I sing, I can do that. And that was the night that I came home and I told my sister, Diane, I said, Di, yeah, I think I want to go solo. I think I can see myself doing this as part of my profession. So my goal now is to always entertain, but knowing after all of these years na may mga pumupunta talaga sa concerts ko para makarinig ng konting word of hope, a little, just anything, Gary. Just, can you sing Warriors a Child? Can you sing I Will Be Here? Can you sing Take Me Out of the Dark? Oh, I hope he sings this. I hope so. And then I get the feedback online. Kasi nagre-respond talaga ako sa IG, sa direct messages. You know, sometimes they'll give me the whole story and then they'll say, and you sang that song? Nakatulong talaga sa akin noon and it's helping me again now. Thank you, sir. You don't have to respond, sir. I just want to tell you thank you. And then I respond talaga. But that's my goal now. My goal is, if I'm the only solo act that does it, then sige, I'll play that role na lang. You know, I don't have to come up with any pop tunes, and I just stick to what I know works and what I know can help and change people. You know, that's my goal.
Makes me
Maraming
think of the
salamat
Bonds as
po.
well.
Inspiring po.
Actually, that's what you're doing now, because all your songs carry some message that I know in time will create an impact. And guys, it's on record na. So in 10 years from now, when people look for songs, when times change and they need songs that can help them out, they have people that they can, I mean, historical pa, yung ginagawa ninyo ngayon. Can you imagine that what you're doing now is going to affect people for a long, long, long time? When the young people of today get older, they will look at their young kids and say, you want to hear a song that has to do with your problem? Listen to this. Eh, sino ba naman yan? That's a group called SB19. Ano ba yung gento? Basta pakinggan mo yung ano. And that's going to continue and evolve. Perfect example.
Look at their little faces.
Alam ko, medyo madaldal ako, pero
Okay lang po.
the song Take Me Out of the Dark, written in 1986. Your parents were probably also that small. So 1986, I wrote Take Me Out of the Dark, but I didn't realize that 34 years later, am I correct? Sorry, mahina ako sa math. Talaga, mahina ako. But in 2020, when the pandemic hit, I recorded it at home, just one camera, keyboards, take it. Yeah, but Sir Gary, Tito Gary, it's only your silhouette. It's not my face that I want to show people. I just want people to hear the message. And then it went viral and it hit people from all over the world. Reactions from people from
And they
Switzerland,
needed it.
from the US.
They needed it.
Huh?
They needed it.
They needed it. And up to now, guys, I'm still getting messages na, sir, when I hear this song, sir, na nakakatulong sa akin. And I respond, hey, yeah, that's not me. I was just used. But it was time for them to hear it. When did they hear it? In 2025, 2024. When was it written? In 1986. So your songs that are out now, and then they've become old and people will put aside, that the messages will ring on for a long, maybe even for as long as time is still ticking, those songs will still create an impact in people's lives. Either they'll move their feet to get up or they'll move their hearts to get down.
Oh, napakaganda nun. And it was not just because of us, Sir Gary. Kasi ikaw din ang isa sa mga naging inspirasyon namin growing up and listening to music. So, kumbaga, sabi ko kung may godfather of OPM, ikaw na yun eh. kasi diba, kasi kahit kami, nung mga bata kami, kahit unconsciously nakakanta agad namin yung mga kanta mo. Ever since yung inspiration na bibigay mo sa amin, talagang malaking effect po yung, kumbaga, sabi niyo may goal kayo, yung purpose nyo is to inspire people. I feel like na-inspire nyo rin po ang SB19.
You succeeded in your goal po.
Yes. Parang hearing your stories po, we are inspired, and I personally, parang ang na-realize ko na po, parang gusto ko rin yung career namin, marami pa pong mapagdaanan na magagandang bagay na maging fruitful din po for us, para po in the future we can also tell stories that would inspire more, just like you po, just like right now yung ginagawa niyo po. And ayun, parang we're very thankful then to be part of your story po, of your journey.
Oh my gosh.
For
If I wish it was on video when Paolo with my son Paolo, and they say, Dad, you want to do something with SB19? And I hadn't met you yet, and you guys, and I'm like, wait, what? And all of the reactions and all, and tawanan kami sa bahay because of all that, because somehow we're in the same boat. There are things that you guys see with today's generation that I don't. So when I hear your lyrics, when I see the songs and the manner in which it is executed, people are not dumb. They're getting entertained, but they're getting more than that.
Exactly.
So when they watch you and they see you and they hear you. So when I get requests, sir, dapat gumawa pa kayo ng mga collabs with SB19 dahil po yung mga kanta nila, ganito, ganyan. I know what they're talking about. But that's already a result of what you guys have been doing
You can tell that these praises are like incredibly genuine, and they do have a lot of stuff that they are doing similar, have done similar. Like there's a lot of correlation there, and I'm so grateful that somebody like Gary Vee has said this to the boys, like to their faces, because they really need to hear how important they are.
But it's not going to be easy. It's going to carry with it so many challenges, even challenges that might make you think and say, okay, tama na. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Let's turn over a new chapter. I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but nothing comes easy. It can come for free, but being able to carry it out there, there will be a lot of challenges. It makes the victory sweeter when there are challenges. But it's true, di ba?
Stories.
Di ba paano ka manalo ka ng basketball? Ikaw, mahilig ka mag-basketball. Manalo ka sa basketball. Sino kalaban mo? Yung mga maliliit na, there's no challenge. But when you play against guys bigger than you and then manalo kayo, oh, man. That's the one you remember and you share with people again and again and again.
And thank you for sharing us your story, Sir Gary. Despite, alam mo yun, yung from the very beginning, kung saan ka nagsimula, yung biggest kumbaga, regrets, fears, yung pinakamalaking decisions na ginawa mo all throughout time. And syempre, despite having diabetes, with all of these illness na kinakaharap mo, struggles, pinrove mo talaga na you are the Mr. Pure Energy. Kasi di ba,
You asked a question kanina, Josh, that I didn't get to answer, where you said your biggest turning point in your life. This is simple. November 12, 1985, I sat on a table, talked to my brother-in-law, and he said, do you know Jesus Christ? And I said, yeah. Of course I know him. He died on the cross. He rose 3 days later. I mean, who doesn't know him? Then he asked me, okay, but if you died now, where do you think you'd go? And I couldn't answer. And I told him, I said, bro, alam ko kung saan tayo pupunta with this discussion, but I'm not ready for this now. Can we talk about it next week? He goes, sure, but what if on your way home? Kasi Makati sila, nasa Pasig kami. What if on your way home may mangyari sa'yo? After all, you never know when your time comes. And that's when I found myself talking about the Jesus I never knew. I said a simple prayer, and after the prayer, I said, amen. And I was smiling, and I said, Vic, his name was Vic, my brother-in-law. Then I said, Vic, why am I smiling? We were talking about Jesus earlier and I'm not smiling now. Then he looked at me and he goes, that's the Jesus you thought you knew. And from that time on, hindi sa gumanda o gumaan yung buhay ko, may mga pagsubok pa rin, but now I could face it with knowing that I'm gonna win over this. I'm gonna get over this. And I'm not just gonna get over it, I'm going to get over it. And that's what's happened. When my book comes out, you'll see story upon story upon story of the victorious moments.
It won't be in English, will it?
Talaga, no? But
I
it's
want
all
to
been
read that
victorious.
book.
Wow, thank you.
Maraming
for that,
salamat
Sir Gary.
po.
And we believe na hindi lang dyan matatapos ang pag-inspire mo sa maraming tao, including kami na na-inspire mo. And sa pag-inspire mo sa amin, mas marami rin kami na-inspire. And it's all because of you, Sir Gary.
Oh man, thank you, Josh.
Maraming salamat po
din.
for sharing
Thanks,
your time
everyone.
stories.
Yeah.
At syempre,
Sana po marami po kayong natutunan sa ating kwentuhan with Sir Gary Vee today. Kasi kami, sobrang dami, punong-puno ng inspiration
I
and
saw that, pal.
grabing notable quotes from Sir Gary. So, thank you so much po.
No, the pleasure was mine, and as long as your clock is still ticking, then you have the time also to make a difference in your life and the lives of others around you as well. So
Right.
Thank you guys. This was such a pleasure talaga to talk to you guys like this, where there's no work involved, because this is not work.
yes, we are enjoying our time. Sobra. We are enjoying our time. Kaya maraming
Thanks so
salamat po.
You're most welcome,
And
guys.
we hope na mas makapagkwento pa tayo sa susunod katulad ng ganito. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your inspirations. And thank you
Thank you, Lynn.
for assisting, Sir
God bless
Gary.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, man.
Maraming salamat po. And
Thanks, Claudio.
let's go.
Grabe.
That was just so amazing. Do you know, I've got so much that I want to say, but I was not expecting for the conversation to be like this, and maybe I was being quite naive. I know that Gary does talk about religion, and his experiences are often linked to religion, and a part of this entire podcast was going to be like that, but not to this extent. These sort of conversations are like my favorite. I love to hear from people how they have been moved, how their lives have been changed through a connection, through this kind of like sense of belonging. And I don't tend to have these sorts of conversations with people that I hang out with or am around very much because they don't have a religion. But I do talk a lot about spiritual experiences. People tend to have a lot more of those just in general, or like maybe scary experiences, and what, you know, how they felt coming out of that. Like perhaps they've had a near-death experience and what came out of that. And it's like my most favorite topic to talk about anything like this, anything that's so deep where you've gone through something and you come out and you're like, this happened for a reason, or this has made me into this sort of a person, whereas before I used to be like this. And it's just the absolute most favorite thing. And listening to Gary right there, he just emits this gorgeous energy. And I do wonder if even as a 14-year-old he was like this, or whether life and life experiences made him into this sort of a personality. But I can't really explain, because obviously I've just spent an hour and 15 minutes watching this, but I can't really verbally explain to you how I'm feeling about him. But it's infectious, that personality, that feeling, that striving to make a difference in other people's lives. And the thing is that not all of us get up and go to work and end up on a stage where we can speak to, you know, thousands of people at a time, or can change people's lives in that way. I truly believe that a lot of this can be whittled all the way down to even your one-on-one interactions with other people, your kindness, your thoughtfulness, your giving other people space. All of that matters so much. And okay, you might not be able to do it to this level, but you might be doing it in your own little way. But just know that you're making such a difference in other people's lives. And I know for a fact that, and I don't really care if this sounds incredibly cheesy, but for whatever reason, I must have lost my mind to think that I should create a YouTube channel when I did. But whatever it was, I did it. And now, I'm 4 years into having this channel, and it's been I say this to everyone, it's been one of the worst things that I've ever done, but one of my greatest blessings as well, because the people, taking the artists out of it, the people that I have met through having this channel have changed my life. Truly. I say it time and time again, I have made real life friends, real relationships. I am no longer lonely because I have you. And I do not care if it sounds cheesy, but you people have changed my life, and it is insane. So if anybody asks me for a life-changing experience, what happened to you? What made you want to do that? Like what went into the thought process behind that? This is my experience that I would talk about. I just love this conversation, and I really love that different parts of that conversation, different examples, you could see certain members' faces light up because they were like, oh, that really resonated with them. It made sense to them. It was something they had gone through, or perhaps they had an experience in their life that they couldn't explain it, they couldn't place it. And hearing Gary's example, hearing his wisdom, they were like, tick, I just understood what happened to me. And I really love that. And the interesting thing is, I have to say it, Stel didn't say a word. When he is in a situation like this, he is so different, because on a day-to-day basis, I feel like that Gemini mind of his is working at 1,000,000 miles per hour. Then suddenly you put him into these kind of thoughtful situations, and he is so different. And even though Stel didn't say a word, he said so much. I was looking at his facial expressions. I was seeing those eyes, and the way he was thinking about stuff, and the way he was applying it to his life. And we know enough about each of the members as well to know how they are taking on all of this information and kind of already applying it to their life, or they will be applying it to their life. And I felt like without saying anything, his silence spoke volumes. I loved this so much. And now I'm thinking, I've got more episodes to watch as well, and how is anything going to top this? I have no idea. I feel really, really lucky that I got to watch this. And there are a couple of other things of Gary V's that I watch in my own time. But I'm really, really fortunate that I'm going to get to see Gary in a couple of months' time in real life. And how crazy is that? All thanks to SB19 and all thanks to you, my lovely family, that I was introduced to somebody like Gary and that I'll get to see him perform in real life and feel some of this that he is wanting to give to the world. And I was talking to one of you via DMs not long ago saying that, will I fit in? Will it be okay for me to go to this event where probably like 98% of the people will be Filipino? Like, is it going to be weird? Will I stick out like a sore thumb? And look, knowing what I know about Filipinos, I will leave with many, many friends and I will be made to feel incredibly comfortable. But it's people like Gary that will make my experience so worth it, because he will make sure I feel included, because it's not just about your ethnicity, your nationality, you know, the way that you look. It is about the connection of the message. I am so grateful for my Filipino family. Please do talk to me about this episode of Time First, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Fingers crossed this was able to make it to you, and I'm really, really grateful to SoLei for subbing this and for making all efforts that it reaches us as well. Thank you so much for watching this with me. I hope that you had fun, and until I see you next time, take care. Stay safe. Bye.